meeting to order. Then Linda is going to present by Zoom because she wasn't able to be here at the last minute today. So she's going to present by Zoom. Then we'll follow with our business meeting. So today is a little bit unusual, but we are starting today. I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's June 1st, 2026. This is Colonial Classics. My name is Marcia Hildebrand, and we are live on Zoom, and we'll be recording, so this will be on our YouTube channel later this week. So without further ado, I am going to introduce via Zoom Linda Hernandez-Torres, our Wesley nurse, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself, about the Wesley Nurse Program, and some of the services she provides to her clients. So Linda, if you are there, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay, I'm here. Can you see and hear me? I'm just curious. Yeah, you can see and hear me? Okay, great. So first I want to apologize for not being there in person. Like Marcia said, it was a last minute thing, but I'm grateful to Marcia for working with me so that I could do this over Zoom today. I had an activity planned and some kits ready to go to create a Zen garden. But I can get those over to Marcia or bring them to the next meeting to get to y'all, and I'll tell you about them in just a bit. That is an activity that I do or that I've done with some groups. So I wanted to thank you for your contribution to the diaper pantry. We have had 3 diaper giveaways. We've started with diaper giveaways so that we can establish a group, begin a class. And the idea is we will do a parenting class. It's going to be 1 hour. Half an hour will be parenting, and the second half is going to be well women's health. And the parenting class is a curriculum done by the nurses at MHM, and it's things like how to advocate for yourself, for your child at the doctor's office, what to ask at the well checkups, why the well checkups are needed, and things like childhood diseases, and when to call the doctor. I always share the nurse helpline through Methodist hospital system, where you can call and speak to a pediatric nurse. And I just emphasize to the parents that it is just a really good resource. It's free. You don't have to be affiliated with Methodist Hospital in any way. And it's really nice because they can call and just talk about what their concerns are with their child. And the nurse can give them some feedback as to whether it's something that they should get to the ER for, or urgent care, or whether they should call their doctor's office. But I always emphasize to the parents that in the end, it is their choice and they should do what they feel most comfortable with. But it's really nice to have that resource and someone to talk to and kind of give you some insight as to what might be going on with your child. I also go over what is the most appropriate care to provide, whether something should be urgent care, ER, or something they should see their primary pediatrician for. Unfortunately, when there isn't insurance, one of the ways that people get health care is going to the ER because they know they can't be turned away. And so they'll go in and get care that way. But that's not always the best idea. And we go over that because we talk about other people in the ER who may have something going on that's contagious, and then you're putting yourself and your children at risk that way. So that is kind of what the parenting covers, kind of the healthcare aspect of things. And then the Well Women's curriculum, I'm hoping to cover things like healthcare throughout the lifespan. So we usually are really good about caring for ourselves during pregnancy and maybe even prenatal, postnatal, but anything outside of pregnancy, especially these young moms who only get their coverage during their pregnancy. After their pregnancy, they're given a limited amount of time to remain on Medicaid, and then they have no coverage. And that's not, it's not what that prevents them from getting even their checkups, women's checkups, maybe having access to birth control if that's what they're wanting. Sometimes I've spoken to a few moms who, because of lack of access or just lack of knowledge of the access for birth control, they've had unplanned pregnancy. So that's why I want to cover women's health as well, because I noticed that everything we did, even within Methodist Healthcare Ministries, to do with women's health, had to do with being a mom, pretty much. So I wanted to address the women themselves and just kind of emphasize that we need to care for ourselves as well and treat ourselves well. I want to touch on self-care and mental health as well, and just managing stress, coping. But my hope is that we will have a group form where it can be a little bit of fellowship, a little bit of support. And I've seen that happen with the other groups I've participated in. So that's my hope. And I think that I can see that happening. Tomorrow is our next our next diaper giveaway. And then in 2 weeks, it'll be officially the start of our class. We do have 6 people signed up so far, but we have a total of 18 who have expressed interest. So we'll be reaching out and just kind of reiterating the dates and things and see if we can get more involved. But everyone that we've mentioned the class to, we've gotten a positive response. And so that's exciting because they are actually looking forward to it. So right now, they're just showing up for the diapers. We're telling them about the class, and then we're signing them up. But we didn't get one person who said, oh, had a negative reaction and seemed disappointed they had to attend a class. They seemed like they were looking forward to it and they were wanting that education. So when I described the class to them, so that was exciting. So again, this is the idea was that these diapers would help us reach out to families in the area, in the community, and help find their needs as well, other needs, because if they're looking for diapers, just as the people that were coming to the food pantry, a lot of times those people have other needs and other things going on in life. And they could be looking for a church home as well. And Landon has a separate sign-up sheet that he completes, or the people complete for administrative purposes to report back to the diaper bank as to how many people are getting diapers and how many diapers they're getting. On that form, he's also asking if they'd like information about the church. So that'll be a nice way to reach out as well. So again, I'm grateful for the support. I think it's going to be a good thing when it gets going. We have a missions group where I have a group for health and wellness, and I'm going to be inviting a volunteer to come along with me. I'm going to fill in for one of these classes for another nurse who's left the position for a different position. And she also has a book club, which I've described a couple times before. I'm not sure that um, your group or people in your group have heard about it, but it's something else I hope to get started. It's a book club for parents, but they're children's books that are being given out. Everyone gets a copy when they come to the class. It is a monthly class, and right now it's started at Chapel Hill. And so that's where I'm hoping to have a volunteer join me to kind of see how that works, how it's working right now. But we have a children's book and we have a study guide, and we just kind of have a discussion points as to the themes that came up in the book. And we read the book aloud and we model how to read it to the children. Some of our parents don't aren't aware of the benefits of reading to a child at a young age where they're not able to understand the words. But we talk about how that is beneficial to build their vocabulary for bonding time. And then we get to read these books. The books that this nurse chose were Love You Forever, just a couple of examples, The Giving Tree, and so some really good conversations came from those children's books. But we talk about what we're seeing in it, but also the things we can discuss with our children as they grow up. And it's just been a really neat experience. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. So that's the diaper classes. At our last class, I did want to share an example. I had a young lady with a very young baby. I believe he was 8 months old. And we took her information, and before they get their diapers, we have an assessment that we do with each person that we're going to work with initially. And we only do the assessment once every year unless we feel like it needs to be done more frequently with someone. But it kind of goes over their needs. It covers those resource needs. Are they in need? Have they been in need for assistance with rent, looking for a job, clothes, maybe feminine hygiene products? But it also covers their support system. How many people do they talk to a week? During the week, how many conversations do they have with people that are part of their support system? And in this assessment with this young lady, before she got her diapers, she told me that she was not employed at the time since she had her baby, and she had a 4-year-old at the pre-K school on West Avenue, which is where I met her before she came to the diaper class. But she mentioned she was not working, but yet she was renting and not living with family. So that led me to ask what type of income she had since she was not working. And I asked it very gently, but it caused her to tear up. And I had to give her a minute to catch her breath. But she said she was struggling. She doesn't have child care. She has a small child support income. And then she supplements it by baking things and selling them over the weekend. So we talked about where she was at with things. Her rent was up to date, but she was concerned about her CPS bill. She had a payment arrangement with them, and she's doing her best to keep up with it, but it's been high for her. So last month she was cut off in April. And she said she had an arrangement to pay them on the 18th. And we were meeting on the 19th of May. So I asked whether she was referring to the 18th of June. And she said, no, May. And then I pointed out to her that it was the 19th. And then she became a little more upset, visibly upset. And it was visibly surprising to her that she had the date wrong. So fortunately, she was sitting there and we could help her with that bill. We have community health workers who were there that day, and they have funds. I have funds from Methodist Healthcare Ministries, and then I also have a fund with the church, which is used for outreach as well. But we were able to assist her with the MHM funds and get her bill paid, and so that she would not lose her service again. But she was very surprised that she got that assistance when she was only coming in for diapers. But we got to talk to her a little bit more, or I did, about what was going on. And so our next goal is to find childcare and or work, depending on, there's different resources for childcare. That's one of the tough ones, because those that are provided by the county and the city have very long waiting lists. But we're going to see whether we can find something that maybe works with her schedule, but she doesn't have much of a support system. So that's just an example of how someone coming in for the diapers can actually get some additional support that she wasn't expecting to get. And then we prayed with her before she left, and I followed up with her that evening, and hopefully I'll see her tomorrow again. And then the other thing I wanted to share was, so that's also an example of how we work with individuals, how I work with individuals. We work with their physical health, but also the social determinants of health, which are things that are stressing them in their lives, whether they can't get the things that they need in order to just sustain themselves. So, and then the class is an example of the education that we do. And then I did go to the pre-K school on West Avenue. We were invited to visit during that they had, and we just shared about our services, where our offices are at, and kind of, again, get the word out for the community. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the back to school event that we're planning on August 1st. What I'm hoping to contribute is vaccines and sports physicals. What we've done in the past is we've been able to partner with either a medical school or a nursing school to provide those services. And so that's what I'm looking into. Hopefully we'll have some additional vendors like CPS themselves to talk about programs they have available, or let's see, SAWS, the water company. But also we're going to have a pop-up thrift store for middle and high schoolers, where they'll be able to shop, quote unquote, for some clothing items. They'll have one bag and be able to pick out about 5 items, hopefully, depending on our donations. And they'll also get a hygiene kit for males and females. And we're hoping to put things in there like deodorant, pimple patches, and of course, feminine hygiene products for the females, and maybe put it all in a pencil pouch. That's what their hygiene kit will come in, so they get that in addition. That's the plan. And we're also trying to come up with a way to provide school supplies that will be relevant and truly helpful for the families. We did talk to a couple of the family liaisons in the area, Lee High School, Colonial Hills Elementary, and Jackson Keller Elementary. And what they've told us is that parents tend to leave off some items when they're trying to cover just the essentials for their child. And some of those things have been dry erase markers because they tend to be expensive. Highlighters and hand sanitizer and tissues are usually on the list, and they'll leave that out because they know it's a contribution to the classroom, but they're looking to just provide the essentials and spend the minimum. So those are things that we're some of the things we're hoping to provide, as well as the basics like pens, pencils, spiral notebooks, composition notebooks. They did also tell us, I believe this was from the nurse, that she notices that they are using socks and undies that are worn by the middle of the year or near Christmas. And it turns out because those things are expensive as well, they'll buy the minimum amount. So we're going to, well, you all know you've decided to contribute towards that. And, but that is, it didn't occur to me. So I'm glad we got that input. That's something that when they're shopping for, they're trying to get uniforms and maybe shoes. So they only buy the minimum amount of undergarments. So that is the plan with that. Hopefully we can do some extra things like maybe get someone to contribute haircuts. If we can do that, we'll have like a sign up and a limit, of course. But that's roughly what we have so far planned. Hopefully we'll get it narrowed down and more specific and things locked down and actually scheduled. But yeah, that's a little bit about what's going on right now. And as far as what I do, that kind of changes with what the season is and the need is and the community that we're working in. I was asked to work in another area that I've done for the last 2 years, I believe, and that's in 78210. I visit there once a week at a food pantry and just try to do the same thing, provide resources. We had some donated diapers before we had the diaper bank contract, and we would provide diapers and hygiene products, and we take the opportunity to do some education with them when they would come in for those items. And also find out more about what's going on and how we can help. Again, because they're at a food pantry, and so most likely they're needing assistance with other things. And sometimes that's just encouragement and someone to reach out to. But yeah, that's what I had to share today. As far as the activity, that was one that I did with, we went to an event for women's health. This was a big event at Windcrest United Methodist Church, and I had a booth speaking about just taking a moment out, taking a break, and resetting yourself when there is stress or anxiety. And I created these little Zen garden kits that had a little square plate, some sand, a little rake, some pebbles, and some little figurines. And I just talked about just raking and maybe while they're sitting, taking that minute to calm down, to breathe or pray, that doing that during that process can surprisingly be helpful and calming. And it was interesting because as they walked up, they were looking to give it to their child. And I would encourage them to take one. let them take one for their child, but also encourage them to take one for themselves. And the idea that it could be for themselves was just, it, it just, I think they were even hesitant to take it for themselves. Like, no, I'll just take the one for my child. And I said, well, actually, they were intended for you. And so then we just quickly get to point out, we want you to take care of you as well. As a mom, we know we tend to, and we say we tend to do everything we can and give everything we can to and for our children. But doesn't mean we need to put ourselves at the bottom of the list. And a lot of moms are guilty of that, or women in general, I think. So we touch on that and try to point out that in order to give, we need to be in the best place that we can be ourselves. Sometimes just saying those words will bring tears to people's eyes just because they are already doing that. They're living that. They're sacrificing. They're giving. They're caring for. And that is something that I think I point out. We aim for that because we're made to think, or we hear it often, that that's what a mom is supposed to be, sacrificial. Whenever somebody's complimenting their mom, you often hear, oh, she always put herself last. She did everything for us first. She was at every activity I had. And so we feel that pressure that if we aren't there 100% of the time, smiling with homemade cookies, then we're failing. And that's not, I want that thought process to change a little bit and to be able to give that care to ourselves as well so that we can be in a better place physically and mentally. So it's kind of odd talking this way because I feel like I've just been talking and talking, but I will stop now and see if there are any questions or comments, concerns.
Have this one back on again? Thank you. All right, I'm going to see if any of you have questions for Linda, and if you just shout out your question, I'll repeat it back so she can hear it. If anybody has a question, raise your hand. Anybody? Yes, I have a question.
Okay. If I buy diapers for you, for your organization, then the money that I spent to buy these diapers, if I gave that money to you, you could probably buy bulk diapers for a lot less expensive. Is that correct? Is my thought correct?
Actually, the church has purchased purchased diapers in bulk from the diaper bank at a very discounted price. So we are currently getting a diaper delivery from the diaper bank monthly. And that's what I'm working with right currently.
We gave $500 towards that.
Right. So the funds were collected throughout, and I believe the total was about $2,000 for the year for 12 months of diapers. And to give you an idea, we get newborn to size 6 every month, and there's 18 packages of each size. So it's quite a bit.
So is that contract just for this year, and then we need new funds for the next calendar year?
If we want to continue with it, yes, it just covers 1 year.
So if folks want to donate additional money towards that next year, we can do it like at the end of the calendar year, or what do you suggest?
Yes, that would be that'd be great. I think what could be done is the donation could be made to I think Brandy had a separate account set up for the diapers. I think I'll have to clarify with Landon, but I think there was a separate account set up while we were collecting for the first year. And I don't know if that's maybe no longer a thing since we were able to raise enough to get that contract for the year. But we could definitely find out. That would be great.
That's an easy thing to check on. It would be called a designated fund for your
Mhm.
diaper bank. If that exists, it holds over till the next year. It does not go into the budget in any other manner.
Right.
Do you still have time for a couple more questions, or?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, anybody else want to say something? I think if we get more questions throughout the day, Linda, we will get them to you. I can email you or text you, and you can reply, and I'll let everybody know that answer. So we just want to thank you for being here, and hope that all is well with your family, and we hope to see you soon.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
And thanks so much to Nate for making this work, and to Bob for setting up the Zoom meeting, and we couldn't have done it without you, so thank you. All right, we're going to go back to the beginning and start our meeting. We are going to have Larry come up and give us some, not opening thoughts, but like mid-meeting thoughts. And then we will have our membership and treasures and birthdays and all those good things to come. All right, come on up here.
Good morning. Welcome. Usually the topics that I choose are attributed to Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, so as to keep me out of the literary plagiarism jail. Today's poem, however, is attributed to Rose Milligan, who lives in Lancaster, Lancashire, England. Or so it says. On the back is her picture. It then says, despite extensive research, we have been unable to find any other details about her. Obviously, she exists, so therefore, I hope that covers my literary liability on my part. At any rate, here is her poem, Dust as You Must. Dust if you must, but wouldn't it be better to paint a picture, write a letter, bake a cake, plant a seed, ponder the difference between want and need? Dust if you must, but there's not much time with the rivers to swim and mountains to climb, music to hear and books to read, friends to cherish and life to lead. Dust if you must, but the world's out there with the sun in your eyes and the wind in your hair. A flutter of snow, a shower of rain, this day will not come around again. Dust if you must, but bear in mind, old age will come, and it's not kind. And when you go, and go you must, you yourself will make more dust.
That was great. I despise dusting, and now I have permission not to do it. All right, so Lois, will you be able to do our membership report for Judy, and then and have your treasurer's report, and then head over to the piano for birthdays? So We'll get Lois some roller skates at our next meeting. No. Sorry.
Okay. For membership, we have 21 members present, and we have 2 guests. Judy Hummel, is that how you pronounce it, Judy? She's been visiting with us a couple of times. And Mario, way back in the back, so be sure to welcome them. And did everybody sign up for lunch, putting a check by their name? Oh, we don't have to stand on my tiptoes. Okay. Did everybody mark that they were going to lunch when they signed up? Okay. Ed Bonnie? David, did you sign up with what? Yeah, okay.
So how many have we got for lunch?
We have 15 for lunch. Okay. Financing, we have $1,247.34 in the bank, hopefully.
Okay, thank you.
And we're ready for birthdays?
Yes. We'll give you some time to get over there. All right, so birthdays, Patty, are you bringing the flowers today? All right, we're going to do our June birthdays next. So Patty, if you could come up.
Good morning. Can you hear me? The June birthdays. Here they are. June 6, Sue Anderson. Come on down. Edie Scott, June 12th. I know she's not here. Mary Lou Maldonado, June 16th. Is there anyone else that we don't know about in June? Yeah, I will.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're going to move right along to our old business. I know that some of you have been calling on the United Methodist Men with their helping hands to help you do some jobs, and I'm excited about that. They're happy to help, so make sure if you haven't already, if you need something done around the house, changing a super high light bulb, smoke detector batteries, I'm not sure if they do cleaning out gutters, but you can ask them. They do. They cleaned out your gutters. Wash your car, whatever you want done, they are more than willing to help. So you can check the newsletter for the phone numbers to call, and they'll get you taken care of. All right, so let's see. New business, or any other old business. Old business. Let's talk about Georgina. We did meet as a executive board shortly before Georgina died, and we talked about using some of our discretionary funds as a memorial for her. Our goal was to donate somewhere before she died and let her know what we did in her honor. But she passed away so suddenly that she didn't know where we donated the money, but her family did. And so we chose to give $100 to the Bayer Audubon Society, so that money will stay here locally to help support the programs of the Audubon Society and birding and all the things that Georgina loved so much. And it was really kind of cool because at the meeting, we called them and, asked about giving a one-time donation and how to do that and in whose honor it was. And the people we talked to, of course, knew Georgina. They knew exactly who she was, and it was nice to be able to support something where she was loved and recognized. So we did that. We didn't ask your permission. We figured you had elected us to be on the board, and we had the money, so it's just what we did. And if there's any discussion, we can. We're not taking it back. It's like I just wanted to let you know that's what was done in your name. I don't know. She was treasurer of classics for a long time. I don't know how many years, but that was kind of her thing. And Colonial Classics meant a great deal to her, so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great, great. Bonnie was telling us a little bit about some of the conversations she had at Georgina's memorial lunch. Okay, let me tell you something else that the board decided for you. And that's because Linda was there, and we discussed with her where we can give, our next donation drive, and she's the one who said that at this back-to-school event in early August, they would really like to give children's socks and underwear to children that come, instead of just notebooks and pencils and pens that are a lot more accessible. Like, you can go pretty much anywhere and they're going to hand you a notebook or a folder or something. But the socks and underwear are something that a lot of families in need won't provide, or they won't get somewhere else. And so we told her right then and there, well, that's what we'll do then. And so you can start bringing children's, boys or girls, socks or undies, and we'll get them to her before October 1st, which means our October 3rd meeting, we'll see if, I think she'll still accept them and distribute them to the places that need them. So for sure, next month, if you want to bring socks and underwear for children, bring it to the next monthly meeting. And we'll let you know if we're still collecting that in August or not. I'll check with her. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? So we already have a place to give them, and we know that they'll be distributed to people that need them, which I think is cool. What else? I don't see any other new business on my agenda other than to tell you that next month we're meeting on the second Monday of July. It'll be July 13th. The 6th is still kind of the 4th of July weekend, and our speaker was not available on the first Monday, but the second Monday will work out perfectly. And our speaker is actually going to be Matt Evans, but he's not talking music this time. He's going to be telling us about coffee roasting. He's now the co-owner, operator of Fiero Coffee, and so he's going to bring a bunch of goodies and demonstrate some coffee techniques and give us samples and tell us a little bit about that coffee roasting business, which I think will be fun. I wish I could taste it, but anyway, and then yes. Yes, we'll have a 4th of July theme lunch here next month too, on the 13th of July. Okay, how are we doing on time? Do we need to fill time, or are we good? Yes, Lynn. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's great, that's great. Yeah. Oh, well, all right. Well, so the hot dogs and you bring your sides, kind of all-American picnic stuff. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry? Yeah, sure, sure. All right, come on up.
Linda was talking about mission committee. She's on, it's in thirds. She's 1/3. Charles and I and another young lady make up another third of the committee, and we'd love to have you join us if you are interested in, particularly in our third, which is reaching out beyond our neighborhood. Charles did some research and brought this project to our attention, and you've been hearing a little bit about it, and I'd like to ask Charles to give you some more details. But I'm so impressed with what's here today, and I saw what was in it yesterday, not much. So I'm assuming that there's some people that we need to thank for some more contributions today. You want to tell them about?
Okay. So this is just used glasses, prescription glasses. When you donate them, you do not need to know the prescription level or whatever it is. That will be sent to an optometry class, and they can determine all that. These are going to the African country of Senegal. And this is going to be ongoing, I think, until October 4th. And they'll be sent over to Senegal after that. So in fact, this is being done in conjunction with University United Methodist Church, so their mission department. And so we're just kind of riding along with it and donating whatever we can. So
Clean out your glasses. We've got a place for them to go.
yes.
Thank you.
We'll do one more quick thing before we have our blessing for lunch. Sure.
Yeah, just leave them. You don't need to have the case. You can just throw the glasses in there.
Okay, so bring your glasses anytime between now and the beginning of October, and we'll get them delivered. I just want to ask, I know in talking with a lot of you over the last weeks, months, a lot of you have celebrations in your family. Maybe a granddaughter was born, maybe a niece got married, maybe you're planning a special vacation, and I want to know, like, if any of you want to share any of those highlights, any special things that we can talk about.
My granddaughter Hope graduated cum laude from Great Hearts Northern Oaks and will be attending University of Texas, San Antonio this fall. Plan is to study biology. Obviously, that we'll see.
Anybody else? Okay.
Well, my grandson Travis graduated May 7th from UT Austin. And he wants to be a lawyer like his dad. He's already got a job in Fort Worth. And he'll be an intern for a large law firm. So we're really proud of him. Oh, well, he met his girlfriend at high school graduation from Flower Mound, Texas. And They were both graduating, of course, and they were sitting right next to each other because it was alphabetical. Anyway, they're still together, and she graduated from A&M before him and got a job in Fort Worth. So they're like 5 minutes away from each other working. So she's an engineer.
Thank you. Anybody? Yes.
Yes, our grandson, Nick Poole, whose parents go here, graduated from law school in May, and he's, I think, going to be looking for a job right after he passes the bar.
So many celebrations. Anybody else? If anything you want to talk about? All right.
Well, I have a bunch of nephews, and a lot of them have special needs. But this one particular nephew I'm going to tell you about, they live in LA, or they live in Hollywood, but he just graduated from high school. He got a full ride to the University of California at, I can't remember, there's like 6 of them. He got one of them, a full scholarship. But he also wrote a song for their graduating class, and he
Directed it?
he directed it. Yeah, he's very talented.
Awesome. All right, yes.
My granddaughter Maggie Jones, or Margaret K. Jones, graduated from Vanderbilt, and the next day, her fiance now proposed, and he's from India, and they'll go over to visit this summer because he has to renew his visa there. He can't renew it here. So keep them in your prayers that he does get his visa renewed too.
All right, let's celebrate all of those awesome things, and then we'll have Lynn come up and give us a blessing for our meal. What? You have? Yeah, of course.
There is so much good in the worst of us, and so much bad in the best of us, that it ill behooves any of us to find fault with the rest of us.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, so wise. There you go. You can.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together again. We especially have on our mind those folks that are no longer able to be with us. Thank you for giving us life experiences that enrich us so much with the people that we know through our church, our community, the lives that you give us. Guide us in all that we do. Help us to truly be your people, reaching out to those in need, supporting each other, and helping life to be the loving, caring, Christian, giving life, the people that are obviously following you and being your example. Thank you for the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. In the name we pray, amen.
Thank you, everyone. Our meeting is adjourned. Let me look at the newsletter.